Is this?
This is from the 5th Cavalry of West Virginia Volunteers. It's a Civil War era flag. And the thing, if you take a close look at it, aside from the fragility of it, is you notice that it has only 19 stars and it has only 9 stripes. This is the kind of thing that happened very frequently in the past. Flags were not the machine, factory produced items they are today, but there's a wonderful statement. Somebody put hours of work into this so that those men would have something to carry on
What's
the
this made
battlefield.
of?
This particular one is cotton. A lot of them in that era were wool. Some of them were linen, other fabrics, but this one's cotton with a stamped.
There is a chart that you've also brought with you, headlined "Long May It Wave." Since it's curling, I'm going to try to spread it out here. And this is underneath the headline, "The National Flag of the United States, Past, Present, and Future." I had no idea there were so many.
People don't realize it's the flag to us, the Stars and Stripes. But in fact, our very first flag had the British Union Jack because we were still loyal to the king, even though we were asking for our rights as Englishmen. And then you go to the 13 star, 13 stripe, and then the new states start coming in. And there wasn't any official arrangement for a long time, so some of those patterns, there are great stars, there are ovals, there are rectangles, diamond shapes. When you get a lot of stars in the late 19th century, you have to put them in rows. And that one in the top corner, the top right-hand corner, is the 51-star flag. If we ever get another state, we're all set.
Now I'm going to move this up to point out two here. You talked about the different designs. Here's a star and another, it's more of a geometric pattern. This was it looks roughly the mid-1800s. Along the way, these various flags, who decided?
Well, the basic law was adopted by Congress, but all it said was that we had as many stars as there were states and 13 red and white stripes. So it was until 1912 when we got a presidential executive order on it, it was up to the individual. And that was expressive of the freedom that we have in terms of the flag. Again, it's not their flag, the government's, it's ours, belongs to us, for better or for worse.
The Florida state flag, the background of that flag is actually the cross of St. Patrick. Is that possibly true?
Yes, it is. Actually, the cross of St. Patrick is a red diagonal cross on white, but it is used as a surrogate for the Confederate battle flag, and Alabama did the same thing. So it's the intention of the legislators when the flag was adopted was to recall Southern heritage from the Civil War era, even though they picked the wrong design. You have to remember that symbols don't have any inherent meaning. The colors and the shapes and the composition, it's what we put into it. So, in fact, when people ask me, they say, well, is the Confederate battle flag a symbol of racism? I say, yes. Is it a symbol of Southern heritage? Yes. Is it a historical military color? Yes. It's all of those things because different people use it differently. Have another example of that. A lot of folks would look at this flag and would instantly identify it with gay pride, but in fact, this basic design is also used by the Rainbow Girls, which is a Masonic group. It's used on used car lots as an attention-getting flag. It's used by the cooperative movement as part of their flag. This particular one is the flag of the Inca Indians in Peru. So it's not what the flag has, the colors and the shapes, ultimately, it's what's in our head that is the important thing.
Three very bright colors, vertical lines. Madagascar, 3 colors, 1 vertical, 2 horizontal. Luxembourg, 3 colors, horizontal. Liechtenstein, 2 colors with a crown. What's the significance as countries decide on their flags on the colors and how they're arranged in these fairly basic design?
Okay. The whole concept of the national flag, as we understand it today, begins really with the Dutch flag when they rose in revolt against Spain, and then the American Revolution, and then the French Revolution. And many flags are based on the symbols used by those revolutions because for the first time they said the king is not being symbolized, the state is not being symbolized, it is the people, the nationality, our culture, our language, our history. And the patterns, the tricolor you mentioned, for instance, the French used that. So that became then a model for many other countries. The Stars and Stripes has been followed by many countries as a model. And there's almost a genealogy that I could show you. Actually, that relates to many new countries are looking for something unique. And this particular design is the flag of Guyana, and there's none other like it. It's got a red diamond, a gold arrowhead, and a green background. Well, the reason it's unique is I designed that. And I sent it to Guyana, and I knew something about their national struggle for independence, but at the same time, I knew how to avoid having this sort of cookie cutter, looks like every other country flag, and they loved it and made it their flag.
What does it symbolize?
The red is for steadfastness, because the triangle is architecturally is a very firm object. The golden arrowhead refers to the original Amerindian population and also the gold reserves, the mineral wealth. The green is for what the national anthem, Green Land of Guyana, fields and jungles and so forth. And but it's a simple flag, so people can put their own meaning into it as well. The more complex, the more difficult it is for a flag to have meaning for everybody. The oldest flag that we know of, still extant, this is a metal flag from Iran from 5,000 years ago. Because it's metal, it survived. Flags have been used in every human civilization. By civilization, we mean settled population, not by nomadic peoples. And mostly they were symbols of religion, they were symbols of royalty. In other words, they were ways of control by the state over the people. Now the people say we want to control our own destiny, and national flags evolved out of that movement.
And this is metal.
This is copper, yep. And there's an eagle at the top, and you can see it with the flag swivels around a little pole. It has figures of gods on it. It was dug up out of the sand in Lut in Iran. It's 5,000 years old.
A most recent flag change was Hong Kong. And you have an example?
Absolutely. There have been changes in national flags every year for years. This is the latest one. This was on midnight on July 1st. There's the old Hong Kong flag with the emblem of Hong Kong and the British Union Jack. And here's the brand new flag of Hong Kong. It is a bauhinia flower. It's got the 5 stars and the red, which remind us of communism. And so it's a symbol of the new Hong Kong under China. There's another flag, Lou, that I think is important. This is the flag of Tibet. And the Tibetans are another region of China, but they didn't come in the way Hong Kong did. So the Tibetans aren't allowed to fly this flag. In fact, you'd go to jail if you flew this flag in Tibet. And yet the irony is this particular flag, there's a little label here, this particular flag was made in China. They have no compunctions against selling a flag like this to the West and making some money, but they won't let their own citizens fly it.
What does this represent?
This is Mount Everest, the white triangle. It's the sun rising over it, representing a country in the Himalayas. The blue and red represent Buddhism expanding to the edges of the world. The orange or deep yellow around the edges represents the Buddhist influence, but it's on 3 sides only because there's more territory to cover. The flaming jewels, the yin-yang, and the so-called snow lions, very complex symbolism relating to their religion. It's a wonderfully detailed and symbolic flag, but of course it's a devil of a flag to manufacture.
If people want more information from the center, how do they contact you?
Simply Flag Research Center, Box 580 in Winchester, Massachusetts.
His famous "Don't Tread on Me," and I'll hang up and wait for his description.
It wasn't John Paul Jones. It was Isaac Hopkins, the first Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Navy. It was his personal rank flag that he flew in lieu of a Commodore's pennant. Colonel Gadsden saw it, thought it was great, sent a copy to the South Carolina legislature. There have been many examples of this flags over the years since then.
What else do you have there?
This is another new flag. This is the former Zaire became Congo on May 17th, and there's another new national flag, except this is an old one. This was their flag from 1960 to 1963. The flag of the Belgian Congo before independence was a yellow star on blue representing the light of European civilization in the darkness of Africa. When the country came to independence, they added 6 stars for the 6 provinces. When they added more provinces, they changed the flag.
You brought with you this, this chart of the flags of the native peoples of the United States. There must be 140 or 150
Yes.
flags here.
Traditionally, Native American peoples didn't have flags. The Europeans introduced the idea, but it wasn't until the 1960s that most Indian nations started adopting flags. And now, for purpose of projecting their image to others and for pride within the group, they have created the ones that you see here, dozens of them, just in the past 20 years. And finally, a colleague of mine put together this wonderful poster with all of those flags, basically unknown to most people.
Here are several copies of the Flag Bulletin, which is put out by your Flag Research Center. Available to the public. How do they get
Just a
bulletin?
regular subscription, comes out 6 times a year. One of those issues is on designing a civic flag if your town or county or city doesn't have one. Another one's on civic flags of other territories. We cover every subject under the sun, special topic issues and all the latest changes. And it's when I started 36 years ago, I never imagined that there would be enough material to fill over 8,000 pages of the magazine, but I've got backlog of years articles to come.
Greenville, South Carolina.
I've overheard that the flag they fly over the State House is not an actual Confederate battle flag, that it's actually based on a naval jack, and I was wondering if you could shed some light on that.
That's absolutely true. The flag that we see, that we know as a Confederate battle flag, differs from the real original Confederate battle flag in 2 regards. First of all, it's not square and it doesn't have a white border. But the fact of the matter is, if people think it is the battle flag, then in that sense it is. So you can't get around it.
Is your tie a flag?
No, it's not, but it evokes the flag. And that's one of the great things in this country, that we can get away with expressions well-intentioned of utilizing the flag.
Whitney Smith is director of the Flag Research Center, a website soon available. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
And we thank you for your calls and your comments. Have a good day.